Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. So happy to see all of you here. Love the costumes, especially Peridot. So here we are at Comic-Con with an incredible audience of comics, movies, and science fiction fans. And we are so excited that with participation of all genders at Comic-Con at an all-time high, we're here with the first woman to independently create a series for Cartoon Network. And I want to make certain that I'm saying that correctly. Would you like me to identify you as woman or?
Yeah, I'm a non-binary woman.
Non-binary woman. So the first non-binary woman, let's get that clear, to independently create a series for Cartoon Network. And this is Rebecca Sugar, who has created Steven Universe. Rebecca, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, thank you so much for coming. I'm the creator of Steven Universe, and I'm also the executive producer. And I've also been working on this series of shorts, directing them and writing them, and recently wrote a song. So that's what brings us here today.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Rebecca. So we're here with Dove, a brand that you all know well as the original advocate for real beauty and pioneers of empowerment and self-esteem. Dove is launching the next phase of its incredible self-esteem project with a partnership that is innovative, entertaining, and fair to say, close to the hearts of everyone in this room. So I would love to introduce you to Sophie Galvani. I wanted to make sure I said her name right. Dove's Global Vice President.
Thank you very much, everybody. I'm a little bit blown away. It's my first time at Comic-Con, and it's incredible. So welcome to everybody. I work on the Dove brand. I'm very proud to work on the Dove brand. We have very strong values and very strong beliefs, and one of them is that we want our young people to participate fully in life, particularly our girls. I have a 10-year-old daughter. I want her to participate fully in life, and that means I don't want her to have any body issues or any self-esteem issues. So it's something that's very close to my heart and something that this brand is fighting for on a day-to-day basis.
And I think Sophie has done some amazing work with Jess Weiner. Jess is an amazing advocate for women and empowering women. And so, Jess, if you give us an introduction and let us know all the awesome stuff you're working on.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I have been a social entrepreneur for 25 years, and I've been working with Dove for 14 out of those years. I started when we launched the Campaign for Real Beauty. My passion point is intersectionality, inclusivity, and representation for women and girls in particular. In media, I live in LA. I work in a lot of scenarios like this, and I'm so excited for today because this mashup is magical and powerful and important, and I think of its time. So I'm very, very happy to be part of this conversation today.
I just want to give Jess a big shout out for being one of the pioneers of this work. She does amazing work across the industry. If you've seen a lot of changes in the industry, a lot of it Jess has worked on, so just big shout out to that. To help us understand why this is such a critical conversation to have in the widespread presence of appearance and ideals in children's media today is expert in body image, Philippa Diedrichs. And Philippa, if you could just give us a quick introduction to yourself. Philippa,
Sure.
down at the end.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Philippa. I'm a professor in psychology and really passionate about body image research and have been looking at how body image affects people's lives and the influences, including media, for over 12 years now, and have been working with Dove for the past 6 years. And I work at a university at the Centre for Appearance Research. And I'm really passionate about supporting everyone to live lives in a way that they're not held back by worrying about the way that they look. It's my first Comic-Con, and we walked through the exhibitor hall an hour or so ago, and if that's not a fantastic showcase of appearance diversity and everybody celebrating creativity and expressing themselves through the way that they look, how they want to, I don't know what is, so I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you, Philippa.
Save the best for last.
Okay, and who better to be a literal and metaphorical voice of body positivity and the role the entertainment industry plays in self-esteem than a woman who grew up in the entertainment industry and was brought to the U.S. shores by Kanye West and John Legend, and also herself, because she's awesome, and is now the voice of Garnet, Estelle.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Can I say something?
Yes, please introduce yourself.
So I'm an artist, singer, all of that good stuff. I also am the voice actress of Garnet. And I just feel like, I feel like I'm popping. No, I'm joking. Not really. No, I have a good time. Hi, I'm Estelle, guys.
I think we all feel like you're popping too. Okay, so I think it'd be really fun to have a look at what they've come up with so far working together in this partnership. So can we show what they've come up with thus far?
Hey, I'm Smokey Quartz.
And I'm the lovely Sardonyx.
Sardonyx and I look pretty different. Like, she's got 3 gems, I've got 2. She's got 4 arms, I've got 3. Her body can rotate 360 degrees. Hey, cut. Just give me a minute.
Smokey?
I know this thing's about how we both have amazing bodies and stuff, but yours is obviously more amazing than mine.
But that's not true! I know you look up to me.
Yeah, you're 20 feet tall.
But you can do things I can't do.
Like what?
Like fit into your dressing room.
Okay, you win. Or I guess I win. Hey, think there's still time for my triple-handed yo-yo tricks?
I hope so. I'd hate to think comparing yourself to me might have hurt your chance for you to be you. Let's get back out there.
A little help?
Please don't film this.
Awesome. That was my first time seeing that, so that was great. So we're all here because we love fantasy, animation, and escapism. And Steven Universe has received numerous award nominations, rightly so, as it enters its 5th season. Its appeal shows no sign of waning. Rebecca, what inspired you to create Steven Universe, and what is different about its formula and character that has driven such like a wide, broad appeal? I mean, look at this audience; it's so diverse. Like, what inspired you to create such an amazing show, cartoon character?
Steven Universe really comes from, it's based on my younger brother, Steven. And so from the very beginning, I wanted to make something that had all the, me and my brother Steven, we were like best friends growing up, and we would always watch cartoons together, play video games together. And so I wanted to make something that it was a pastiche of everything that we loved to share together, but that was also grounded in the feeling of just the reality of our relationship to each other. And I think throughout all of it, even though we're making something that's a sci-fi, fantasy, action, comedy, slice of life, everything, it's always going to be grounded in reality because it's always going to come back to that reality of my childhood and then also to the childhoods of everyone on my staff. So one of our big goals from the beginning was to make sure that while we could do wildly outlandish things, the core of it was always some truth about our actual lives.
That's amazing. And such a beautiful and refreshing concept point of view. It almost seems sort of obvious that all young people should feel represented in media, in television, in entertainment, in everything they watch. Philippa, can you give us some context as to sort of why this hasn't happened yet? It seems like it should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, it definitely should have happened a long time ago. And researchers have actually been systematically analysing the content of children's media, including animation as well as picture books, movies. And what they've found is that appearance stereotypes and pressures that we face in everyday lives as adults, but also as young people, are perpetuated and reflected in children's media. So you'll see that historically characters that fit the appearance ideal of how we should look are more likely to be portrayed as happy or to be lovable and to be the smart ones and to be engaging in good and pro-social behaviours, whereas the unattractive ones likely to be sad and angry and probably left out. And so that might seem quite benign and trivial, but what the research has also shown is that when young people see this type of media, it makes them feel worse about their body image when they grow up. And why does that actually matter? Why should we care about body image? And researchers like myself have been looking at this for over 3 decades now. And what we see is that when young people, particularly girls, but we know that it affects all genders, when you experience body image concerns or are unhappy with the way that you look or feel ashamed of your body, you're more likely to have physical and psychological health problems. But really importantly as well, we know that young people who have these concerns are less likely to speak up, to raise their hand in the classroom, to feel comfortable making friends, and even importantly, to challenge some of the injustices in the world. If you feel bad about yourself, you're less likely to speak out against that. And so this is an issue that is not trivial, and if we can look at really creative ways to address this, the research has shown that it's actually gotten worse in children's media since the 1960s. And when you compare books and on screen tends to be worse. And so this is what is really exciting for me as someone who's looked at this for such a long time, is to now actually be working with a company like Cartoon Network and working in partnership with Dove and amazing people like Rebecca to actually flip the script and change this. Steven Universe has been doing this a long time and now actually applying it to the issue of body confidence. It's just so exciting and engaging. As you all know, you love the content and reaching so many people, and I think that's really powerful.
Sophie, how did Dove get involved with this, and how did the Self-Esteem Project come about in general?
So Dove, 14 years ago now, launched a campaign that some of you may know. It was called the Campaign for Real Beauty. But the Campaign for Real Beauty was really an advertising campaign, so it showcased diversity within the world of beauty. And at the time, the brand very much said, look, you know, it's one thing to do an advertising campaign, but it's another thing to actually take action and try and make systemic change in the world. So that was the time that the Dove Self-Esteem Project was formed, and it really was about looking at the next generation and saying, look, to all the points that Philippa said about people dropping out because of body confidence issues and self-esteem issues, we want to tackle it at the source. And we know that between the ages of 10 and 17, that's when there is a big drop in those issues with young people, and we wanted to intervene and really try and make change and make a difference. Now, we take this extremely seriously. You can already hear that we've done it for 14 years, so it's something that's extremely serious for us. We've worked with Jess Wiener here, we've worked with Philippa for a long time now. We go into long-term partnerships. We want to make sure that what we do is academically valid. We want to make sure that it actually does good and doesn't do harm, because it's very easy to actually be detrimental to young people. So that's why we work with such esteemed academics to make sure that what we're doing is really validated. We research it. We've had academic papers published on it. We talk at the United Nations about the issue. So it's something we do take extremely seriously. We've already reached nearly 30 million young people in 140 countries globally. We want to reach 40 million by 2020, and with this partnership, we're going to add an additional at least 20 million. So we'll be getting to at least 60 million young people. So to that end, we don't go into partnerships lightly. We go into partnerships when we feel that there's a real authenticity about the partnerships, and that the people that we're working with have the same level of kind of seriousness and understanding and really want to make a genuine difference. And certainly when we met Rebecca and when we met with the Cartoon Network team, it just was really in spades that they really believed in this issue. And so it's just been such a natural partnership. When you work together with another partner who really believes in the same thing, then it's kind of easy. I'm looking at the Cartoon Network. It's kind of easy and it's kind of fun, because you know at the end of the day that ultimately you've got the same goal and you want the same things. So that's where it's come from. We do a lot of our tools around what we call two-way teaching. So we teach in schools and with parents. And we thought, you know what if we could go direct to girls? What if we could combine what I call the right brain, the kind of creative, with the left brain and the science? How powerful would that be? So if we could take the creative force of Rebecca and combine that with the academic rigor of Philippa, that is just going to be something that's never been done before. So that's what we're doing here. The cartoons that you see behind you, they've been carefully crafted with the academic research to make sure they're actually doing good. So that's where the partnerships come from.
So that's fantastic. So I'm amazed at how many people you're reaching. I think that's wonderful work, and I support it so much. I'm really interested in hearing about like how y'all got connected. Like, how did this partnership happen? Like, Rebecca, did you just call up Dove? Like, hey, I want to work with y'all. That's awesome. I like what you're doing here. Like, how did that come to be?
It was actually many years ago that there was a tour through the studio. It was the first time that something like this was mentioned, and I was surprised that people had noticed that we were doing this with the show. I had thought that this was something that I really wanted to do in the realm of animation. And I knew that it would have been helpful to me as a child, but it didn't occur to me that anyone would notice. So when it started to become a more serious possibility, I became excited because it would mean that I would have access to years and years of research and to people who had been working directly with children. And as much as I'd been writing from my own personal experience, same with the rest of the team on the show, all from our experience of what we really felt like we needed to hear, I was interested in knowing exactly what creates change immediately and make this work in the most effective way that I possibly could. So that was a really exciting prospect. And as we do these shorts, there's a lot of back and forth. I know the characters very well, so I'm always making sure that it's truly their voices, and I'm choosing who's in what subject, who's affected the most by it. But then I get access to the kind of phrasing and that helps kids the most directly and the most quickly. And it's been very helpful.
That's amazing. So while the pieces have been super helpful and super educational, they've also been very entertaining, as Steven Universe tends to be. So I'd love to hear more about like the individual pieces you've created, the ones we've already seen. I think there are 2 out now, 2 videos, and then a music video that just came out. So I'd love to hear more about that content y'all have created, how you came up with it, just the ideas behind it.
I think it's something that I started thinking about back when we did the episode Mindful Education. When I first was talking about doing mindful education, I came in and pitched to my writers. I said, can we just do an episode that's 11 minutes of Steven leading you in mindful meditation? And my writers said, no, the kids will just turn it off. Like, there's no way they're going to watch that. So when we really sat down to talk about it, because I was like, at the time, it was really helping me. And I was like, people need to know how to do this. What we came to was we needed to create a scenario where mindful meditation would actually help the characters. Because if you love the characters, you want to see them be helped. And so I've really taken that thinking into these shorts, which is that because there's this behind the scenes theme, the characters know that they're supposed to say something. And this also relates to the fact that this is an issue that I've really struggled with personally. The characters are even struggling to just deliver the basic messages because it's something that's new for them and that they struggle with. So to see that what they're learning can actually help them in 60 seconds finish this short is sort of the concept that I thought would keep it both entertaining and relatable. I think a lot about didactic art, because didactic art tends to be considered very dry. And I don't want to make didactic art. I want to make very honest art, and I honestly want to help kids.
Can I just chime in there as well about the content? So Rebecca obviously brings it to life through the characters, and it's really interesting. We share scripts and I get to see what Rebecca writes and then add my comments without trying to butcher things from an academic point of view. But the other thing is about the kind of some of the key messages that are coming through in the shorts. They're not just random thoughts that have kind of popped up, and what they're actually targeting are the risk factors or the key influences on young people's body image. So the fact that there is one on teasing and bullying, we know that appearance is the #1 reason why children get bullied. The one that you just saw is about competing and comparing looks, because we know making comparisons about our appearance to other people is a really important influence on young people's body image. And you'll start to see some of the more of the shorts as they come out will be targeting those risk factors. So for me, it's kind of mind-blowing to combine this research of what we know are the key influences and trying to change them, then with the power and creativity of Rebecca and the platform of Steven Universe. Because as researchers, we and psychologists, we have a really good understanding of how these things work in people's minds and what you need to do to change it. But what we're not good at is getting our thoughts and our work out there on a huge scale. And so it's been completely humbling and really, really exciting to work with Cartoon Network and Dove to get this out there to millions of people, because normally in research it takes an average of 17 years when something is studied to actually see it translate into something that's actually going to influence society. And we're doing this in real time. And the music video was just launched yesterday, and I don't even know what it's up to now, but I looked yesterday and there were 250,000 views just on YouTube, which
It's gone up.
I knew I'd be out of date, but that's just fantastic, and I think it shows the power when you partner like-minded people with shared values together, and it's a real honor to work on it.
Speaking of that music video, thank you for mentioning it, Philippa. I would love if we get a chance to watch it because I haven't had a chance to see it yet. So if we could play the music video, that'd be great.
So it's about how you feel about your body?
Yes, it's about how everyone deserves to be seen.
Yeah. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Are you sure you don't want human beings for this? Testing.
It's for humans and gems. Thanks.
All right, places, everybody. This is body confidence. Take 1.
We're small, but we're strong.
We're cool, but we're kind, and
We deserve to shine.
we're gritty and tough.
We're smooth and refined, and
We deserve to shine.
We'll figure it out
there's plenty of time.
for everybody and every mind.
And every facet to finally find that we deserve to shine. We deserve to shine.
All right, let's try that again.
Oh, I laughed. I threw everything off.
No way! It was perfect.
Nice job.
Oh, thank you, Garnet.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. I'm glad I waited to see it till just now. So it sounds like y'all thought it was great too, yeah? So it seems like we're all aligned that entertainment industries, in this case television, comics, gaming, music, and fantasy, play a really big role in self-esteem and body positivity. Estelle, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, a little bit, tiny bit. For me, I've been doing this music for a very long time, and I've been told I should be as many things as you can think of, and I don't care about any of these things. I'm definitely but I'll say this, it comes from having a very, very solid background and very, very good, really, really good role models in my family and the people that are around me. I have there's 9 of us, 8 brothers and sisters. My mum and dad, our complexions run the gamut. Our house was like, how would I say it? Our house was the neighborhood house, per se. Like people came to our house to eat and to kick it after school and then went home. I would help my friends learn how to cook, things like that. So I've always been surrounded with loads of different types of people. And so my level of acceptance comes from that root. And my level of acceptance for myself comes from that root. And, so as I get older and I become a singer and I do what I do, I'm very convicted and very clear and very sure about who I am. And, people have their opinions, and that's nice. But and my mum would always say to me, that's fine, that's their opinions, they can have them. You don't have to deal with any of it. You don't have to take any of it on. You don't have to believe it. And, and some, you get asked, what's your response to that? And I'm always like, that's fine for you. That's not fine for me. So, that's literally my response to everything. So, like I said, I've been called and been told you should be this, or you should be lighter, or you should be darker, or you should have natural hair. And depending on what week you catch me, it might be natural. It might be a full-out wig. but it's, you know, it's all my decision, you know, and I'm very clear and I've always been this person, like I said, but it comes from a standpoint of my family supporting me and the people around me, even when my family were not too sure themselves, people around me supporting me and saying to me, it's okay, you be the first to do it, it'll be all right, you know. And I stuck with that, and thank God, and I'm glad and I feel honored to play this character. When me and Rebecca started working, you know, the first thing she said to me was like, I love your song, Freak. Those who know, you're all laughing because you know, right? But I remember dreaming up this video and the label at the time going, what? I don't get it. And I was like, trust me. You know, so to hear Rebecca validate that this dream and this conviction that I had was something that was really valid and made sense to her. And, you know, and then we have the character Garnet that, you know, it resembles, and, you know, it came into the creation of the character Garnet. It reinforced, again, the idea that stay with your convictions, be cool about who you are, no matter how crazy it looks at the time, and how crazy it looks in the moment to anybody else. It's fine. They'll catch up. They'll be all right. They'll get it. And there's always somebody that identifies. You know, and Rebecca identifies and got it. She was like, this song is crazy in the video, I get it. And I was like, thank you, I'm not crazy. See? Like, you know, no, but I use that word lightly, but you understand what I mean. So, yeah, people will push you around or try to. It's nice. It's good for them. They can do that. You ain't got to listen to it. That's always my approach. So, yeah.
Jess, you've worked in this space for quite some time, both at the intersection of like culture and entertainment. I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think what we're watching right now is actually very future leaning into where I think inclusivity and representation needs to head and is heading. When you have intentional creators and intentional partners and studios and brands all coming together and sharing that mission, it's incredibly powerful. But I was struck as I was listening, I think Estelle said something that's really important, which is that it's our sphere of influence that's changing. You know, social media is a wonderful thing, and it's a scary thing. It's democratized beauty, which is incredible, so you see so many different people out there in the world, and it also is a massive place for FOMO and depression and, you know, kind of comparing your life to images that are out there. And so when I look at the intersection of culture and entertainment and self-esteem, and I've been, you know, in this space for a long time, for decades, where this wasn't ever probably considered to be a panel topic conversation at a time when this was hushed and we didn't have the language for it and we didn't have the platform for it. I've worked with girls who wear burqas and who wear Birkenstocks, and they want the same thing, and they want to be seen. And so when we've collectively disappeared people from media, when they're not there, when they're not seen, you don't have agency over your body and your thoughts and your view out in the world. And so I'm incredibly moved by, I think, the intentionality and the influence of who's influencing you. I mean, I don't know about you. I grew up, so my last name is Wiener, and it's a character building last name for a girl. And I grew up in the 80s, and I remember looking out in the 4 media channels that we had back then. Just shout out to anybody who's over the age of 30 in the room right now. And my big show where I was looking for somebody who looked like me, and it wasn't even like looked like me, I just wanted to find a brunette on television. And it was Facts of Life. And it was Joe. So shout out to Nancy McKeon. Everybody's gonna go and Google that right now. But the point being that the landscape was very limited for where I could even see somebody who resembled me to a piece of like what my hair color was, let alone what my life was like or what my body shape was like. And so I feel like the more we can intentionally put out art in the world that is reflective and representative, I think you're finding not only brands and businesses who are profiting from that, and that's important too, because you know this is an important intersection for us when we talk about business and culture, that this is a way that we can put good in the world and do well by it. And that's not mutually exclusive in my experience. And so I think the more we are creators in our own hands, we all carry around, you know, we sit on our own media empire right now. We all have followings, whether you're at 2 people or 2 million people, it doesn't matter. We have influence and we have opportunity to share and to democratize that space, but to stay grounded with spheres of influence that are going to speak to you in the way your families did. To my favorite line is always Amy Poehler said, it's great to say when somebody has an opinion, good for you, not for me. It's just a great way to kind of build that barrier. And I feel like this is an opportunity for us collectively as an audience, as brands, as networks, as creators, to really come together and vision what's the future of this world for children, and how are we providing them the tools and the experiences that are going to represent them, not disappear them, and in fact really kind of normalize and socialize our lives, and that's really important.
That's awesome. Just to echo that a little bit, seeing Steven Universe for me, and for those who don't know, I'm a huge fan also. Seeing Garnet, like I'm a 6 foot tall Black woman. Seeing Garnet on screen as an adult was just like, I felt so seen. And I wish I'd seen it as a kid. And it would have been phenomenal for my own personal self-esteem.
I'm going to add to that. I feel it every day I walk in the studio. No, this is a real thing. So Rebecca's like, she's got a sixth sense or something. I go into the studio to read my scripts and sometimes sing, and it's like, you don't know my life. I really go in there and say things, and it's like, this is what I went through this week. How did you know? Who are you?
Exactly.
When I was growing up, when people were like, you're too skinny, or, you're too this, or whatever, I had that extra thing to be like, well, I'm bossy, and so is she.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, totally.
So I feel you.
Yeah.
I agree.
So it sounds like all of us have had our own personal self-esteem journeys. And those journeys might make this partnership feel very close to your hearts, just because, we've experienced what it's like to have bodies that maybe weren't accepted as like the norm. So I'd love to hear about your personal self-esteem journeys and what advice you'd give to younger people in the audience, and that's for everyone. Let's start. Philippa, let's start with you.
I was talking about this with someone the other day, because as a scientist you are trained not to talk about the personal. You're trained to talk about numbers and statistics. But obviously, I grew up and recognised body image concerns and worrying about appearance. Both, I can remember comments that were made to me when I was 7 years old. And I think back to the amount of energy that I wasted, my friends wasted, even today, that I see women and girls worrying about how they look. And I just imagine collectively, if you could imagine a world where all that energy and angst was channeled into something else, how powerful that would be. And I think my kind of advice to people, or what I'd like people to start considering, is rather than just seeing as your body as an object to be looked at, certainly have fun with your appearance. And again, Comic-Con, amazing, having fun with like dressing up and expressing yourself and your individuality. But think about your body as a powerful tool and what it allows you to do. And when you look at Steven Universe and the characters, you can see them using their bodies in all these amazing ways and having these powers. And, actually our bodies do amazing things, even though we're humans. And we know that when people focus on what our bodies allow us to do, whether that's to run or to dance, or our hands to create art, that's actually a really powerful tool for promoting body confidence. Mm-hmm. So I'd encourage you to have gratitude for what your body allows you to do, and to encourage the young people around you to focus on that as well, rather than just always focusing on the external and appearance.
Mm, absolutely.
I wear mine.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's two things that I'll take away from this. So I've been educating in this space for a long time, and I just shared with you the wiener story, but the other part of that story was in searching for myself out in this world. And I was a media junkie, and I loved culture and I wanted to consume it, but I also wanted to be represented by it. And so it set me off on a path that's now become my professional career. But I feel like at the core nature of this is an opportunity to develop our voice and to speak out and to not be as well behaved as we've been told to be, especially for women and girls. And I think what the Dove curriculum does in particular, and I've had the opportunity to facilitate and teach these workshops that Sophie's talking about in the curriculum that Philippa and others have helped to develop, which is that in those rooms, I have seen firsthand around the world young women come into that moment of awareness where not only they didn't need to find their voice was there all along, but they actually heard themselves. They heard themselves reflected back. They heard themselves with shared stories and experiences, and that cumulative power gave them curiosity about their life and how to look, to your point, beyond the body, but also out into the world and how to become a change maker in their lives and look at their visions and kind of go forward with what they wanted to create and and change ultimately. So I think one would be let's be less behaved than we've been taught to, and to chart our own course. And then the other is that fill that void. Right now we do. I talked about the powerful tool in our hands, our phones. Where there's so many content creators that I meet now. When we do these workshops with girls, it's no longer this didactic model where we're talking to them. We are talking with them, and they are creating with us, and they are participating and evolving the conversation, and that is so powerful. So I feel like we need some more two-way mentoring, and we need some more opportunities for these voices not only to be heard, but to create the work that we're going to see in the next generation. I very much look forward to that.
Body image and now. Okay, so like I said, there's 9 of us. Yeah, it was interesting. But I will say, I've been told you're too skinny, you're too this, you're too that, and everything like that. And I got to a point in my life early, I want to say, where I was like, guess what? My body works. It is gorgeous. It gets me from A to B. So I don't really care about what body you want to see. You're going to get what body I give you. And that goes from when I'm having a fat week. And that goes to when I'm underweight. That goes to whenever, whatever. Because I look at it like this. I have a blessing in that I get to wake up every morning and I get to go and do the thing I love. And I get to read and I get to live in freedom and I get to live the life and I get to live it right here. And so whatever moment I find myself in, I kind of stay in that space. You're going to get whatever I give you because it's good and it's healthy and it looks wonderful. And so that's what I live with. So I give you that today. I saw the meme that said, like, it's summertime. You're going to get whatever body I give you. That's how I feel. This is how to me, that's the outlook on life. You're going to get what I give you. And so to that end, it's important to put good things inside of yourself. Whether it's reading, whether it is being online and having a community, whether it is interacting with people in good, healthy ways, or just striving to consistently keep learning about life. Somebody said the important thing in life is to keep living. So just keep living and keep giving them what you have. Don't change it around for anybody. You'll be all right. It's fine. You're good.
So I would say that my whole image of my body changed when I popped out 2 children. Then it changes, because then you realise, holy crap, what's just happened?
But where?
And how amazing.
Where from?
How amazing your body is. And actually it's got a function and it's there to do stuff and to nurture and to bring my 2 gorgeous children into the world. So my whole how I thought about my body completely changed at that moment. And yeah, I talked about the fact I have a daughter, Tallulah. She's 10. She watches an awful lot of rubbish on television and entertainment when it comes to role models. I've said earlier, I want our young people, and particularly the girls that do disproportionately suffer from this issue, I want them to participate in life. I want my daughter to participate in life. I think I want all girls and all young people to participate fully. Everybody. I don't want people to feel like they're excluded from life in any way. I think it's super important. I really hope that in 20 years' time, we're going to look back on this period. I really hope we're going to look back on this period and think that something happened. I hope there's a lot of plotting going on in a lot of meeting rooms. I know that I'm doing a lot of plotting at the moment. But I hope there's a lot of plotting going on, because I think people have kind of had enough. And I think, if we think about Dove, and we've been advertising for a long time about body positivity and showing these images, but it's not enough. And we've got to now partner with each other and work together and band together to make change. We've got to stop as women as well, kind of hurting each other and kind of pushing down each other. We need to get together and be really strong now and work together to make this change and to bring it about. So I feel extremely proud that hopefully, a little bit of what we're doing today is going to make that little bit of difference to our children's lives. Mm-hmm.
I think for me, this has been interesting to explore as a topic because I really don't feel done. This is something that I continue to struggle with, and I've struggled with a lot through my life. And at a certain point, I decided to very much care only about my work and really never about myself. So I have a complicated relationship with this because I still love to work, but I'm now trying to learn how to take care of myself. Particularly eating, I have struggled with eating. And so having information about how to help children with eating disorders is really valuable and important to me. I think I realized something at a certain point while I was working on the show. Around 2015, I was so deep into it that I was not eating. And I was very sick, and people would actually say, "Wow, you look great," and I was really sick. I realized that was a problem. To me, it came into focus how much it's both the mental and the physical.
You have to want to take care of yourself before you can. And so building both of those things up has been sort of a personal journey that I've been sort of secondhand writing about throughout the course of the show. Recently, I was hanging out with Estelle. We hang out outside of work, by the way. And I was talking about this project, and I was saying, it's just really hard for me. I felt very unsure. But then we were just talking about, well, really everything that you just said, which was very inspiring. We're busy and we have to be healthy or we can't get stuff done. We're busy. And it's just really true. You have to prioritize your life and your health, your mental and your physical health. So I think the other thing that's been interesting for me working on this is that I want to be able to speak to people who aren't done, who are in the process, where you're still trying to figure out how to manage the anxiety that comes with these issues. And you aren't going to be done when it's over. It's going to be an ongoing process that will last potentially the rest of it will. Living takes your entire life to do.
Exploring that, it's like staring into the sun, but I think it's been really valuable experience.
Yeah. That's awesome. For sure. I personally am so grateful that, Steven Universe exists, that this project that you and Dove are partnering on exists. I think it's really important that we have this content out there for young kids who are struggling with these body image issues, who are struggling with eating, who are struggling with mental health. And I just want to know, what can we expect to see next?
Well, there are several more shorts that are coming up. I know all about them. You guys will see them eventually. Yeah, it's a whole run of shorts and a book, a digital book for the younger set.
Yeah, so we've got a music video that you've seen today. 2 shorts are out, as Rebecca just said. We've got 4 more to come, and a book. And as we said, everything is validated. So do watch them and do give them to kids to watch as well. Download the book and give it to kids to watch because we know that it makes a difference. So yeah, they're there. They're out there on the internet. Go to the Dove website, you'll find them, and they're really easy to download.
Awesome. So before we wrap up, I just want to see if there's anything that y'all want to make sure the audience takes away from this panel. Anything that you think is very important that you want them to go out and share with the world. I see lots of people creating content with their phones. So if you have an audience right now, even though I think some of us have bigger audiences all the time, what do you want to share with that audience? What do you want them to know? Anyone?
I'll jump in. I think the opportunity for today and to start this conversation and the work that you're seeing, I think we need your help in continuing that conversation in the lives that you live, in the relationships that you have. So whether you have children or teach children or, care about starting this conversation with a child in your life, I think planting that seed is really important. And I know a lot of people that we work with oftentimes don't know where to start. And I think taking your favorite show, and obviously this is a plussed up opportunity that Cartoon Network and Dove and Rebecca and everybody have brought us intentionally. Again, it's kind of my word for the day. But I think use what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, use those comments, watch our comments, I would say, watch what we say. The language creates our thoughts, which create our actions. So I think using the content that's there is an important thought starter. And I think we have some curriculum models and exercises and support that's available if you're interested in that. And so the The tools are there, but we also have the tools within us, and it's just really to be present and to start this conversation, to be unafraid, to get a little messy around this too, because it's the beginning that really matters the most, and then I think you can open up a really great opportunity for education with the people that you love in your life, including yourself.
That's great.
I'd like to say, well, there's so much we can do to make children feel supported, but I think as adults, there's so much about our culture that is actively harmful.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like more than ever, right this second, people just need to be committed to helping one another.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can all sort of demand from everyone that you try to be helpful, that you care about people, then I think that can make a massive difference. It seems a little, you can ask children to please feel better, but we as adults need to make a world that is supporting those children, need to make media that makes them feel valued. And if we don't do that, it's not their fault that they feel bad, and it shouldn't feel that way. I think everyone here, everyone who, I'm sure a bunch of you draw comics and to make art, and we can all try as hard as we can to shift culture to value supporting one another.
Amen.
I agree with that. And just to add on, not to completely, but Rebecca creates something. Rebecca creates love. She creates a smooth, clear entity of love. She celebrates with Cartoon Network and with Steven Universe and now with Dove the positives.
Mm-hmm.
She goes out of her way everybody here has gone out of their way to say, hey, we're going to celebrate this. I think if we all spend more time pushing, focusing, saying, hey, let's retweet that video, whatever, however you do it. I don't know. I heard there's a whole new, because I heard there's a whole new Snapchat and there's a whole new Instagram that the kids are on that we don't know about. Post it, man. Post it on all those things. People, funny, but for real, people tweet me. And they're quick to point out the negatives in things.
Yeah.
They're quick to say, well, why did you post that? And nothing can be done. And I'm like, I'm posting this because I know there's somebody who is gonna look at this and it's gonna trigger their life path. It's gonna make them wanna change the environment. It's gonna make them feel free enough to be who they are, to become the next most amazing thing in the world. I'm not posting this to talk about how crazy the world is. So, to that end, socially, post the crap out of everything, excuse my language. Post and post. Everything that is positive, everything that is love-filled, everything that makes you feel good. It's about just continuing that conversation, to me.
So I feel we have to wrap up, but I want to just echo Estelle here. To post these videos, post the content created by Dove and Cartoon Network, Steven Universe, share it with the world. The messages are so important. We are out of time. So I want to say thank you all for coming. Thank you to our panel for joining us. I hope you found it as fascinating. I hope you found it as fascinating and thought-provoking and interesting as I did. And I hope you will go online and share this content because someone out there does need to see these videos. Someone does need to hear the message that their body is okay, that they are okay, that who they are is okay. So that's what I want for you to do as you walk out of here today. Thank you.
Thank you.